The two honorees at this event were a 25-year-old billionaire and Jacquelle. Here are our founders of the year. When it hit me what was going on, and looking around and realizing, like, wait, are they even gonna let me into this room, let alone being honored? All right, let's talk and get real here. Let's get very real. Hello, everybody. I am Jacquelle. Welcome back to my channel where we are helping underestimated professionals beat the odds. Now, today I'm going to get into something very personal, very vulnerable, and is something that's been on my heart because it keeps happening. And I think a lot of people don't recognize how common this is. And so I just want to be yet another example with, kind of a unique twist on imposter syndrome, feeling like I don't belong, feeling like I'm in a room where I shouldn't be, and that what I am earning with all of my mights and efforts, so I don't know why this confuses me, but what I am earning is something, it's like, wait, was that a mistake? Did they mean to give that? Okay, maybe I got it just because this or that. When it's like, no, I earned that. So I wanted to connect with all of you, and I'm actually curious to hear from you too. So if this already sounds like you, hit the like button or leave a comment on exactly why. But I also wanted to share my perspective, share my story, and most importantly, talk through how you can overcome this, because it's absolutely something that I think more of us deal with than we often talk about and that we admit. And it's very important for us to understand the methods, the strategies, and frankly, the need that we have to push through this that allow us to be even more free, to be even more successful. While we can be on that trek together, the reality is this is something that is likely to continue to reappear in your life over and over and over again in many new ways that you may not even recognize will be the case. You'll think that once you get to this new place that you are dreaming about right now, everything will be fine and you'll be the most confident person in the world and nobody can tell you anything. And then you get to that point and you are just as fragile and unsure about your outlook on the next step when you're already in the shoes you were dreaming of before. And that's the real of this, right? Where there is no peak, there is no plateau. Your life continues to adapt to the new complexities that you have. What's your floor of, gosh, this sucks, when this sucks could mean that you only earned $1 million profit on your stock in a day instead of the 150 million you were hoping for one day. Or it can mean like what I see in my kids all the time. I have two daughters and one of them will fall and it will be the worst thing in the world to her. My God, this is the worst! Freaking out, obviously. Or my oldest, who's now a fresh 5 going on 15 and a half, is over the moon when she accomplishes getting 10 points in her bowling game. It's the most amazing thing that has happened to her. But what I found so interesting is that she also started to feel so annoyed 2 days later when she kept playing the game that she only got 10 points. It's like, ugh. Why didn't I get a strike? I even tell her, I'm like, look at you now having different set of expectations based on where you are because of the growth that you've had. And now you have even bigger dreams for yourself. And even just yesterday, she was complaining that she didn't get a turkey in the bowling game, which I didn't even realize was a thing, but apparently it's 3 strikes in a row. And that's her bar now, okay? And that is just a prime example of why this will never stop. You have to apply new methods and new strategies with each of these new spaces as you grow. And we'll do that together. Maybe I can start with an example from my own journey that it's like even now I'm cringing at the fact that I'm even gonna say this because I am still not embarrassed, but I'm still like, ugh, they're gonna think I'm just saying this for the sake of the video. And it's like, no, I'm saying this because I still feel self-conscious that I even earned this and that people will think that I may not have deserved it, but I'll get to why that is the most silly thought in the world. So a few months ago, I was honored by, I'm even nervous to say it, but I was honored by the Wall Street Journal for being one of 2 founders that they wanted to highlight and call out for the year. And this was in their annual event. It was a room full of either millionaires multimillionaires or billionaires. And then here you have me. And not only was I invited to this exclusive event, I also was being honored at that event with dedicated time, with all eyes looking at me, hearing my story. I'd say maybe the thing that got me the most is that the other person being honored was a 25-year-old billionaire, and then me. So the two honorees at this event were a 25-year-old billionaire and Jacquelle. Here are our founders of the year. That was something to really sink in. And you can imagine when it hit me what was going on, and looking around and realizing like, wait, are they even going to let me into this room, let alone being honored? But I mean, it very well did. And there was time carved out, dedicated just to sharing my story. It was very well received. And the rest of the speakers were all the CEOs of the biggest companies in the world. And even though I didn't think I belong in this room, it's funny objectively because on paper, you look at me and I look at me and I recognize, okay, I have made a lot of very cool accomplishments in my career with the places that I have worked, with the awards that I have received, with the tangible impact that I have made to users' lives. Yes, like, cool, I get it. But when it happens, it still is something that you think again, like, are they even gonna let me through the door? But as this hit me, it was a big reminder that I did earn this spot. This was no mistake. And I am, in fact, in these very credible eyes, a founder to note for the year. It still makes me feel some type of way to say that, but it is true. And I have to get comfortable with accepting success in order for me to continue to welcome more. I think for some of us who don't realize what may be holding you back from starting something new or calculating 80 million different scenarios of what could happen if you in fact made a certain move that you know that you want, but you want to make sure it's the right thing. And I think a lot of that is because we are afraid of, well, what if this works? And I used to not even understand what that meant. There's a reason I want it. Like, why would I be afraid of that? I'm doing this because I want it. And then I would find myself finding every excuse or other task or thing that I need to do first before I started out for that thing, even though I knew how clear that path was for me. But it's because you kind of get a little bit shaken up and scared about, like, what will people think about me when I accept that success? Will they agree with the fact that I earned that? And honestly, who cares what they think? Other people are going through their own lives and they have their own context that they will frame what they're watching from you and everybody else, the thousands of other people that they saw that day or witnessed or thought about or scrolled past that day. They will think something relevant to their own experiences. And that has absolutely nothing to do with you and the decisions that you should make. I recognize that this is not your typical advice that you hear about overcoming imposter syndrome, but it's an important one because since this isn't talked about a lot, it continues to get perpetuated in spaces because nobody is comfortable enough to talk about the fact that they don't think that they deserve to be in a certain place. And we need to find more diverse reasons and stories and strategies to push through this so that we can all achieve more. That is why I'm here. That's why I started this channel. I have the same imposter syndrome I'm describing for starting this channel. Are you kidding me? I spent so much time thinking what you are thinking about me on the other side. But the fact that you're watching this means that there might be something about this that is striking you as relatable or something that you can lean on. There's also another reason that I recognize is unpacking the realities of this. And I think it's a core reason why we end up in this situation in the first place. And that's because we see all of ourselves. And so we are evaluating our fit into a certain very specific room with its own guardrails and criteria and expectations and measuring that against everything else in our life because all we have is an understanding of who we are. If we see us dealing with difficulties or struggles or things in other places in our lives, we will blame those for why we don't deserve something else. without even realizing it a lot of the times. For example, so many of the times that I have come out of this exact room, knew that I nailed a meeting completely, like I'm going to push that forward. That was awesome. Woo, this is amazing. I leave the room and I'm literally faced with spit up or pee on the floor as I'm walking out of my room. And it humbles me. I don't think like, who am I? Because trust me, I think that being a mother and being an executive can be completely intermixed and should and make you better. But I will say that it's humbling to go from top of the world in a business thing to go and almost slip on some urine. So I do think that it's contributing to some of the thoughts that I have about whether or not I'm accepted into other places, that you don't really see spit up on shirts. But I'm proud of my spit up on my shirt. Do I have it on there? It's a battle scar of why it's even more important for me to be in this room to represent a different perspective, right? So while you can look at everything else that you're dealing with in your life, and it might not be as silly as some spit up, but for example, you really excelling in school and getting a bunch of A's and then coming home to a really difficult situation, and it makes you feel like the success that you're earning there may not be deserved, or who are you to be the one to accept this award? And that's really sad because it's impacting how you will then view what you have objectively earned. I want to make sure that you can apply whichever of these two routes works best for you to either separate the fact that you have earned something specific in a specific room despite everything else going on in your life, or recognize that everything else going on in your life and what has made you you is the reason why you deserve that thing more than anybody else in the room, because you have faced struggles and adversities and difficulties, and usually may not be somebody who deserves to be there, but you are. You are there. There's no mistake that you are in the room, that you got the job, that you got the award, that you are there is no mistake. All of that literally is what got you to that place in the first place. So make no mistake yourself either. You deserve to be there. And that also brings up another related point, that people don't owe you anything. People really don't owe you anything. So once again, this is not a mistake. You earned that spot to be there, and you fought your way to be there. And now that you are, accept it, because these people are in the business of making sure that they have the best person in the room to represent their own brand, their own perspective, their own trust with their colleagues. It's dependent on you as well. People are far more self-serving than you think they are or should be, and they are out for themselves. And if they didn't think that you would be the right person to represent, you wouldn't be there. The final one that actually hit me a ton just last week for another room that I thought I should not be in at all was see, again, I get nervous to even say it, but I'm being honored by the Thomas Edison Awards for innovation. And the exceptionalism is the way that they frame this, of the battle and the strides that I have taken to innovate in my industry. And again, to me, I really saw this as, little old me? What do you mean? Like me? I am getting an innovation award at the Thomas Edison Awards. What do you mean? And it was further confusing because the other 5 people being honored were heads of departments at MIT, a doctor, a professor, somebody who is making protein out of air, the voice of Spider-Man, and somebody who sold his company for $25 million, the first Black person to do so, to a public company, and he did so twice. And then you have me, who's building an app for fans. And that's how I saw it. But, as soon as I recognized, hold on, I am making people feel something. I'm making people feel belonging through technology at scale. That is impactful. And they see that, and they really wanted me to be a part of this. And I even weirdly suggested, wait, I don't know if I should get I don't know if I should get this because I don't even know. And they were like, no, what do you mean? You are a part of this. And through the time that we were meeting each other and engaging, I noticed that they were referencing me frequently and using me as an example of what can be done, or as a suggestion for somebody to collaborate with, or they need to take my course on funding because of what I've accomplished. All of these things that I was like, wait, you guys want to learn from me? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? You have done this. You have done this. You have done this. And what hit me the most in that room, in addition to me going, you know what? Maybe it's okay that I'm here. Maybe this wasn't a spelling mistake, or maybe they didn't have the wrong email. All of these other innovators that were being honored there said the exact same thing, that they also felt like they shouldn't be in the room when they were comparing themselves. And that's really funny, right? You would think that each of these people deserve to think that they're the ones that set the bar and everybody else is a little subpar. Nobody thinks like that in reality, but you think that they deserve to think that, and they don't. Everybody is fighting for the spot that, oh no, wait, everyone's better than me. Wait, no, everyone's better than me. And everybody thinks that no matter what you succeed and how cool people think what you have done is, that person will always feel that they are not as good as everybody else. It's almost a relief that, yes, okay, I felt that way, but everybody else does. So who's going to win that race for the bottom? And we should not be racing for the bottom. We should be big upping each other, big upping ourselves, high-fiving and congratulating that we are all in this room being honored here because we earned our way here. And as soon as you recognize that, look at even the energy that I now have and my readiness to keep going and keep pushing and keep doing this and keep talking to you all to make sure that you know that you should think that same thing. Recognize it. It really is a powerful thing to unlock the acceptance of your success. The acceptance of your success. To say, hey, me, you did this. You earned this yourself. And you got your way here by your persistence, by your love for your goals, by your ignoring everybody else and what they had to say about what you were doing, given their own context. And you kept going through that happening over and over and over again. So of course you deserve to be in this room. I hope that this gives you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of a reminder, a little bit of a push that you need to not only just continue to push and push for what you know that you deserve, is the reminder to remember that you deserve it. So thank you very much for hanging out with me, hearing this story. And once again, if this resonated with you, let me know how in the comments. Is there a certain moment or an event that happened for you that made you realize either like, gosh, what? I'm not supposed to be in this room, and maybe something in this video reminded you that you do, or a moment where you already had that reminder for yourself and it propelled you even further to keep accepting that success. I want to hear from you. So thank you so much. Give this video a like. Please subscribe if you feel that this is something that you want to be a part of. We have a community not only here on YouTube, but also check the link in the description for Underestimated Power. It is a group of professionals who know that they are being underestimated and want to work together to give each other strategies, tips, know-how, training, masterclasses, access to the people and the places that will let them continue to rise in their careers. And I can't wait to see you there and for future videos where we continue to unpack all of this. So join us in the community where we can all push forward together, and I will see you for the next video. Thanks so much. Have a great day. You deserve it. Bye.